So this is what you need. I am using a blender today. For this recipe, because I'm using hyaluronic acid, I think a blender works really well. I'm using my NutriBullet. If you don't have one, you could use a whisk, but this makes it a whole lot easier. Trust me, I've tried both. You will just need a little mixing bowl. I'm just using a little porcelain measuring cup. I have a funnel, which you don't have to use, but it makes it easier to transfer it into the bottle. And I have a 4-ounce dark glass bottle. I'll put a link to these under where you can buy them from. Any dark glass. You could use amber glass or cobalt blue glass. And you could use a dropper or a spray. But again, because this is for my body, I'm choosing to use the spray. But either works, and if it gets too thick, because we're going to play around a little bit with hyaluronic acid to make it moisturizing, you might be better off with a dropper or just a cap and just pouring it into your hand. Now, the most important thing about the equipment, the bottle, the top, the blender cup, and anything that your ingredients are going to touch, you need to sterilize them. So what I did was, before this video, I put them in a really big bowl, and I boiled a kettle of super hot, like boiling water, and poured it in here, poured it over the blade, made sure that everything came in contact for, a minute or so with boiling water. Then I got it out, I air dried it, and everything is sterilized and sanitized, and we're good to go. Fantastic. Let's talk about the ingredients now. Okay, now I'm self-conscious because I've told you about my hands, and I'm like, oh my God, they're looking at my hands going, oh, look, can you see all those little spots, and on my arms? And that is not the case on my face, because I've been using vitamin C serum and all those other ingredients that I recommend for many, many years. Okay, so first ingredient, vitamin C L-ascorbic acid powder. And there's a couple of brands that I like. I'll put links to a couple of brands underneath the video. But whatever brand you use, it's got to be water soluble. Next up, I have hyaluronic acid powder. And that's because we're going to make this into a moisturizing serum. Then I have some ferulic acid, which is a very powerful antioxidant, and it will help your vitamin C from oxidizing. So that's the magic ingredient. That's the magic duo that you want. I'm using rose water because I love the smell. The scent of it is beautiful, and it is also moisturizing for the skin. You could just use distilled water. That is your choice. I'm using vegetable glycerin, just a little bit, and then I have a natural preservative, Lucidol liquid, and I'll put a link to that underneath the video. So that's it for the ingredients. Let's get going and make it. Okay, so first off, I'm taking my rose water and I'm putting in half a cup. So it'd either be that or half a cup of distilled water. Okay, actually I need a tiny bit more because I wasn't using exact half cup. Right, so to half a cup of that, I am adding 4 teaspoons of L-ascorbic acid powder. 1, 2. You can see I'm not completely exact with all this, but I've been making it for so long that it's kind of like making soup for me. All right, so that's that. So we've got 4 in there. Now we're going to add 4, so the equal amount of ferulic. 1, 2, 3, slightly smaller jar, 3, and 4. You see, you're going to have enough left if you get these small jars to make a bunch of this. So the upfront cost is not what your bottle is going to cost, which is really good news. Now, the next thing that I'm going to put in is 1 teaspoon of veggie glycerin. And I'm doing 1 teaspoon because I don't want it too sticky. Some recipes that I've seen call for a lot more, and it gives it a nice sort of slickish feel for your serum. But again, there's a fine line. If it's too much, the slick becomes sticky, which I don't like on my skin, since you're leaving it on your skin, basically. Now, the next thing that I'm going to put in is a preservative, which is these Lucidal liquid drops. And to this, I am going to put in about 60 drops. Oh, the little plastic thing dropped in there. Wait a minute, I've got to fish this out. Oh. The little top went in there. Okay, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, that is 60, or as good as. So I'm just going to mix that up. Now, finally, I'm going to be adding some hyaluronic acid. Now, you will have heard of this ingredient probably. It's in almost every moisturizing cream or lotion. And it's a humectant, which means that it attracts and binds moisture to your skin. So I really, really like this as an ingredient for this serum. But it can really thicken your serum and a little bit too much. So you have to be very careful how much you put in, and it thickens over a couple of hours. So I'm going to pop in just half a teaspoon into this particular formulation. And you can play with your hyaluronic acid, because if you think, oh, you know, this is something that I want to have, you know, I want it to be a little bit thicker and to have more, to just have a thicker consistency, then you might want to put in a little bit more. So just play with it and see. But the moment it goes into that liquid, it will start attracting all that moisture and almost becoming like a thick gel. So you want to work quite quickly here. So I'm now screwing on the top to my blender, and let me move the camera a little bit here so you can see clearly what is going on. I'm just going to move up. Yep. Okay, we can see. And there we go. So I'm just going to blend it up. Oh, that would help. No, my blender is turned on. Hang on. Okay. So that's what it looks like right now. That is the consistency of it, but because of that hyaluronic acid, the moment it goes into my bottle, it is going to start thickening up, which is good. That's exactly what I want it to do, because that's too liquidy for me at this point. So now I'm going to take my bottle and I'm going to unscrew that. It makes it honestly so much easier if you make it with a blender. It really does, because when you use a whisk, you can do it with a whisk, but I will say that what is going to happen is that the hyaluronic acid starts sort of binding to the whisk, and you have to work so quickly. It can be a little daunting. And then now that's just going to go in to my bottle. Can you see how some of it, well, you might not be able to see, is a little bit thicker, because already that hyaluronic acid is at work thickening away. And now I'm going to screw the top on. I'm going to give it a really good shake. And what I will do is I'm going to put that in the refrigerator for a couple of hours. And then when it comes out of the refrigerator, I'm going to give it a really, really good shake. Because for the next couple of hours, while it's in the refrigerator, again, it is going to thicken even more. And then I'll be ready to use it.